This is KMCV Channel 7, the only local channel covering all of the CNMI.
KMCV News is just around the corner.
And here's a peek at what's coming down the road. Negotiations were moving along. House Speaker Gomez hopes the budget compromises reached today will result in a signing tomorrow.
And the Rota delegation refutes charges their hiring practices are deceptive. They say what they do is a common practice.
It's a common practice for islanders to go fishing. Some of the CNMI's best tried to reel in one of 15 trophies up for grabs last night.
We'll hook you on all of those stories next on KMCV News.
Buenas noches para todos hamzu tato saipan luta dantinian guahu si corlada de Leon Guerrero.
Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday cast of KMCV News. I'm Glenn Wakai. Longshot Willie and Vicky Tudela will be with us a little bit later.
Let's turn our attention now to the stories topping tonight's newscast. The cloud hovering over the CNMI budget may soon pass. House and Senate leaders are optimistic that a compromise can be reached by tomorrow. Apparently, ever since two Senate conferees walked out of budget negotiations last week, talks have been ongoing between other members. The three main issues at stake are the definition of a full-time employee, reprogramming authority, and lapses. House members said that the FTEs and lapses were non-negotiable. However, on the reprogramming authority, both sides gave in a little today. The original request was to give flexible financial power to the governor and the mayors of Tinian and Rota. Senate President Juan Demapan says the Senate members were willing to concede reprogramming authority for the Tinian and Rota mayors. In return, Speaker Tomas Gomez says the House will allow the governor flexible authority above the 25% already given to him by law.
We always stand on the position that the governor should have more authority than any other elected official in the administration of the government itself, especially with the executive branch itself.
All that needs to be worked out now is the legal language of this compromise. The House and Senate Council have been working on it since this afternoon. The Speaker says that new draft could be ready by tomorrow, but there's still a small chance that it won't be amenable by both houses.
Lawmakers are not holding back. Those involved in the budget negotiations continue to throw punches. The latest accusations come from House Committee Chairman Pete Regis. He says Rota's leaders are mishandling the budget through the island's personnel office. Nanette Miranda reports on how these leaders are refuting the charges.
Members of each legislative house refused to take off their boxing gloves after recent allegations that the mayor of Rota stepped beyond his hiring and budget authority. Senators from that island are punching back today. With charge number 1, they say it is common practice to employ someone with less experience at a lower salary than what the budget calls for.
So really that set figure in the budget is a maximum figure. It's a budgeted maximum figure. There's nothing wrong with hiring an employee at a lower salary, and there's nothing wrong in trying to reprogram some of these differences in figures.
Representative Pete Regis claims that Rota's leaders deliberately hire workers for less money so that the island's lapse fund is bigger, a fund that can be partially distributed to various projects at the mayor's discretion. Senator Manglonia says that's simply not true.
Because we have no guarantee that the lapses will be used for projects or that. We know that it's not a guarantee.
Senator Manglonia says they were fighting to keep their lapses because they gave up the $2 to $3 million they normally get each year for capital improvement projects.
It was to cover up for some of the CIP funding that we did not ask. We did not ask for CIP, so we hope to get some money from the lapses.
Some House members also accuse Rota for hiring too many summer interns. The program was given $25,000 this year, while the actual dollars spent was $98,000.
But finance, go ahead and authorize the fund because all those funds are authorized to be expended. So why is he questioning the illegality.
So the mayor also, has reprogramming authority, and to advance this program, he, under the law, reprogrammed some of his funding and augmented that budgeted appropriated amount.
The fiscal year ends exactly 1 month from today. While the punches fly, the budget sits. Perhaps the biggest losers of this match are the departments and agencies which are awaiting money to provide detrimental services to the Commonwealth. In Capitol Hill, Nanette Miranda for KMCV News.
In response to charges of wrongful hiring practices made by Representative Pete Regis, Rota Mayor Prudencio Manglotna issued a news release. Manglotna says his office has to make allowances because of the budget reductions made in 1991. At that time, he says $200,000 was cut from personnel. That forced him to restructure some positions to lower pay levels in order to cope with inadequate funding over the past 2 years. Manglotna writes, quote, "Had Representative Pete Regis bothered to check the facts, it would be apparent that his charges totally ignore the reality that the budget salary amounts were based on anticipated adequate funding." End quote. Manglotna contends that hiring and payroll practices of his office are lawful and reasonable. He says the gamesmanship with the budget has caused problems for his office in trying to meet its payroll with inadequate funds.
The scramble among lawmakers for diminishing tax dollars is due in part, says Lieutenant Governor Benjamin Manglotna, to the global recession. Manglotna says now more than ever, the CNMI economy needs a jump start, and that boost will come from the federal government. In a letter to Assistant Interior Secretary Leslie Turner last week, Manglotna pointed out that the NMI has met all the required conditions laid out by her to receive $6.93 million in bond interest payments. Manglotna says this will in turn allow release of $27.72 million appropriated by Congress for fiscal year 93.
The prospect of having that money released now is very imminent. I believe it can come to us anytime now. And with the letter that we sent out, I'm sure that will help us release this money by informing Assistant Secretary Turner that we have fulfilled the four concerns of OTAA.
Those four conditions are, number one, CUC must submit a signed contract with a firm qualified to conduct an extensive management audit. This has been done, says Manglotna. Number two, the CUC must also show efforts to hire a comptroller. Number three, the CUC must also hire a data systems administrator. Manglotna says a firm has been contracted to conduct an executive search to fill these two positions. Number four, CUC's board must undergo training. A firm is on island right now to begin board training tomorrow and again in December. Manglotna says he has yet to hear back from Turner as to when she will authorize the release of the $6.93 million.
Coming up next, a local garment factory owner says he's cleaned up his act and he wants the government to save what he calls a dying industry.
And parents at a public system PSS seminar learn how to be better parents.
The first garment factory set up shop on Saipan 11 years ago. As the industry has grown, it's also been plagued by labor abuses. It's been about 2 years since a handful of companies were forced to pay $9 million in back wages. KMCV News talked about the future of garment manufacturing with businessman Willie Tan. There are 2,000 employees stitching and ironing clothing for Willie Tan's 3 garments factories. It's a business which has sewn up a bad image in the eyes of local and federal government officials. Over the past 2 years, things have changed. Tan says last month's New York Times article describing sweatshop conditions was an uncalled for setback.
If there's something that we need to improve, we will do it. And hoping that the wrong perception will change, and the real fact will come out.
Tan admits to past labor abuses, but he's committed to cleaning the stains marring his public image. The L&T group of companies has asked the mayor of Saipan to coordinate a committee to review living conditions. In addition, there have been $1.5 million in improvements made in his factories.
OSHA law has been changing, right? The government regulation has been changing, and the government here is also upgrading their standards. So we will see, and what changes we're supposed to do, we will do. We're committed to do that.
One thing Tan does not want to change is the minimum wage. Within the next few months, it will jump 60 cents to $2.75 per hour. That, combined with proposed tax increases, could fray an industry struggling to compete in the world market. Tan has made his feelings known to many lawmakers.
That we are competing with the other Asian country. Make sure that any law will pass, we still survive. Otherwise, we're just going to be shut down our operation.
Tan says the future of the garment industry is in the hands of lawmakers. At this point, are they doing anything to save the industry?
Yes. They are analyzing it, the same as our company's been analyzing it, yes.
Tan says he's committed to forming a partnership between his factories and the community.
It was a close call for Japanese tourists diving at Obzan Beach last night. The police report states that Mari Tanaka was taking a scuba lesson with a few other people when the instructor noticed her floating in the water. The instructor pulled Tanaka on shore and gave her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. She was then taken to the Commonwealth Health Center for further treatment. The nursing supervisor this afternoon says that Tanaka is in stable condition and will most probably be released tomorrow.
If you want your children to grow up to be well-adjusted adults, then teaching them to make decisions at an early age is a must. That was the message delivered to Head Start parents at a public school system seminar this morning. Instructors stressed the importance of allowing the children to get involved early in charting their course for the rest of their lives.
And those things that we don't like, our prejudices, and be with the child. There are times when kids need to struggle to find solutions to their own problems. And that is training. That's the best opportunity that you would give a child. Do not interfere, jump in and say no. That is wrong. This is how you do it. You're stealing that opportunity away from that child to grow and develop and to be able to solve his own problems.
One of the parents invited to today's seminar, Ester San Nicolas, says she learned different ways of reaching out to her children.
This workshop has helped me learn. It's opened me up to other ideas and other ways of handling and taking care of my children.
The 3-hour daily course began yesterday and will continue through Friday.
The electricity generated by the island's power plants are transmitted along miles of overhead wires. Maintaining the island's overhead power distribution system is the Commonwealth Utility Corporation's job. Today, the workers tasked with making sure the lines are repaired and in order were at a workshop taught by an instructor from the American Public Power Association. APPA Representative John Miner conducted the class.
And this course is designed to help CUC and its people understand the latest techniques in overhead distribution, not only to improve efficiencies, but to ensure a safe operation.
Miner says that if the CUC employees understand how the system can best be maintained, they'll be able to help cut costs.
Electricity was in the air last night, as were a number of fish stories. The Saipan International Fish Tournament held its 9th annual awards banquet at the Hyatt Regency Saipan. The 2-day derby this past weekend had participants from throughout Micronesia. There was a school of trophies waiting to be reeled in by a school of anglers.
The grand prize for 235.5 pounds, the Pacific Blue Marlin. The boat's name was Lam Lam. The skipper's Patrick Ulachong, and the angler is Alex Coldine. The grand prize winners of the 9th annual international...
Home $2,000 and will hold the perpetual trophy for a year.
Good evening and good news. The circulation associated with the tropical cyclone formation alert that was located east-southeast of Guam has been canceled as of 3 o'clock this afternoon, although expect more rain showers and thunderstorms for the next couple of days. For this evening, expect mostly cloudy skies with isolated showers becoming partly cloudy by midnight, winds light and variable, and the low temperature in the mid-70s. Moving to our regional temperatures, we posted a high degree reading today of 86 degrees under mostly cloudy skies with rain showers. Rota and Tinian both posted an 85 degrees. Palau's temperature today was 84 under sunny skies. Yap and Module today also posted the same temp of 85 under cloud covered. Panapay was rained in with a high of 77 degrees. Moduro posted a high of 85, and Chip today posted an 86 degrees under partly cloudy skies. And in the Pacific, Manila was hazed in with a high of 81. If you're planning to go for a vacation to the Aloha State, you'll be experiencing a daytime high of 87 degrees under sunny skies. Hong Kong was under cloud cover with 82. It was cloudy in Tokyo with a 77-degree reading. Taipei today posted a high of 82, Seoul was under fog with a 69 degrees, and down in Sydney, Australia, the temperature was 59 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Seas tonight will be slight to moderate, 3 to 5 feet, serve 46 feet on northern clockwise through eastern exposures, and 2 to 4 feet elsewhere. A high tide of 2.3 feet is due up at 8:03 this evening, and the tide will drop to as low as 1 foot at an hour past midnight, and expect another high tide tomorrow morning at 7:24 with a high of 2.2 feet. The sun is expected to set at 6:30 this evening, and sunrise tomorrow morning will be as early as 8 minutes after 6. And for tomorrow's forecast, expect partly cloudy skies becoming mostly cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms. Winds will be east-southeasterly at 5 to 15 miles per hour, gusting up to 25 near showers, and the high temperature in the upper 80s. And that's all for our weather report.
Thank you very much, Vicki. And that's all the time we have for news tonight. But we would like to say there's a big event coming up tomorrow. What is that?
Well, early tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., our little leaguers are coming in.
So that's good news, and we'll be there to greet them. And one other thing, we'd like to pass along a programming note to you before we close tonight. John Anderson's on vacation, and he won't be here tomorrow night, but be sure and tune in tomorrow night for a rerun of the Best of John Anderson show, and that should be interesting. On behalf of the entire KMCV news crew, those in front of and those behind the camera, there's more behind the camera than in front, thanks for joining us this evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you back again tomorrow night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.